Hey, is it audible, guys? I'm just waiting for you guys to text. If everything is fine, we'll continue. Yeah, Anvesh, it'll be uploaded. Is the audio clear? I don't know how long the lag is, so okay then. So in the stream, we'll be doing some vector displacement. I can show you what it's going to look like. So this is the very small node setup. And trust me, I kind of forgot how I did this. So it's going to be a lot of experimentation, just a casual stream. So, okay, along with the shader. So this is a vector displacement, and yeah, the lightsaber from a sphere. So this is what we're going to do today. So let's create a new file. I don't want to save this. I'm just looking at the chat so I can follow along. And I want to start with the sphere, so let's add a sphere. And because it's vector displacement, I'll be giving it subdivisions. Let's give adaptive. Viewport level is at 1, but I also should change it here. Let me see where it is. Also, because we are using vector displacement, we have to deform the mesh. I have to use cycles render engine because EV doesn't work. It's not yet supported. And to use adaptive subdivisions, keep the feature set to experimental. And yep, and the subdivisions, the viewport by default it'll be around 8, I guess, but I set up my startup file in such a way that it'll be at 2 because I think my laptop can handle it. So let's give the same material. And also one last thing, is everything visible? Oh yeah. Should I increase the size or something? I mean like the interface size. Just let me know, guys. And because we are using displacement, we also should change the settings here. Under the settings, I by default I set it to displacement, but right now let's choose displacement and bump. It's better not to, I mean, because I always work with nodes, this is my default settings. And camera, it's in the top view. I want to keep it in the front view. Control Alt 0. And let's see this. Yep. And render. For better lighting, I think I'll use a HDR. Just give me a second, I'm searching for the HDR. So how's everyone? Welcome all. We have 8 people watching right now, and I'm really happy that you all turned up. Just looking at the HDR, which one to choose. There's one thing called Lapa. I'm searching for that. Got it. And Let's change it. And let's plug it here into the color and see how the lighting looks. I think it looks good, but I don't really want the background. But I really don't want the backdrop. So what I would do is I'll rotate this by around 90 degrees. Let's see. Yeah, it's bright enough. So I'll just duplicate the background and mix them together. Also, I'm using Node Wrangler most of the time, so I can turn that on in the add-ons. Node Wrangler here. It's always better to keep it by default if you are working with shaders. And I'm using a mix shader node. I think it's lagging a bit, I'm not really sure. And let's add a light path node. And let's use the camera ray. And there you go. What this is doing is it is keeping the lighting details from the HDR, but using this one as a backdrop. And let's go to shader nodes again and objects. So first of all, let's start with the texture coordinate node. I'll be using object coordinates for now. If this doesn't work, let's use generated later. So is the stream visible, guys? Because I think it lagged for a second. Not really sure why. And first of all, I want to neglect the z-axis, which I'll just multiply with 1, 1 and 0. What this is doing is, you can see there's no trace of blue, right? Because in Blender we have X, Y and Z, and each axis represents with each color. So X-axis, as you can see here, the X-axis is in red color and the Y-axis is in green color and the Z-axis is in the blue color. Let's turn this on real quick and let's see this. Yeah, there you go, it's blue. So for now, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to use vector displacement, right? So let's get this out of the way and let's plug this directly to vector displacement. To the displacement node. You might ask me, I could use a vector displacement node and change this to object space. This is the same thing. Look at that. This is the same thing, but directly, because these both are the same vector and I'm using the same object coordinates here. It doesn't really matter. I'm just taking a second to look at the chats. Oh, the chats does fill. Nice. Hey Sam. I can see a few people who I know here. Hey Nodding. Hey all. So for now, let's keep this aside. I really don't want to use the vector displacement node. We can simply use the multiply directly to the displacement. You can see, right? Even though there is a zero displacement in y-axis, z-axis, you can still see there is some displacement going on in the z direction. That's because, remember, we are displacing an object. We are not displacing from the origin. So vector displacement works this way. What exactly is vector displacement? Sorry, I think I should have mentioned this before. And I don't really have a Wacom nearby. Let me just plug in, or else let me just continue with it. So this is the axis, right? Imagine this is 3 dimensions, okay? This is the z-axis. For now, let's not think about that in that way. So vectors are just like the this I mean this is a point in space, and this point is at a distance of say x, okay, or else let's say r, and it's at angle theta. So every single point in space has its own unit vector, which is represented in 3 dimensions: x, y, and z. In Blender, because these three values are nothing but the RGB values, so each point is represented by a color. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to shift these vertices of this particular mesh to those locations. I mean, for example, if I want a sphere, I need to maintain the curvature, right? So I have to shift the vertices from the origin from here equidistantly. So like this, and like this, and like this. So now if I draw a circle, I hope I draw it well. Let's see. And I'm using a mouse. Okay, it's not a circle. Anyway, let me just see the chat real quick. Oh yeah, I think I should post the Discord link as well. If you guys want to, like, I'll just edit the, just give me a second, I'll edit the description. So what's up everyone? What's going on? I think I should open the Discord real quick. Hey Agnem, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the stream. I'll just post Erin's server's link here. So guys, we run a Discord server, me and Erindale. You can check out his channel. I'll just paste the link. So Discord link, here it is, and Erin's channel. Yay, yeah, I know it's late for us. It's 1:22 a.m. for me. so basically, oh, let's get back to, can you see the link in the description now? I just edited it. Let me know guys. So as I told before, each 3 axes represent 3 different colors. Every single point in space has its own color, right? So for a sphere, we have to shift the vertices from the origin equidistantly so that it makes a sphere. For something else, like if you want like a square or something, you should, oh god, I think I'm, why is this happening? Yeah, I think I turned on the animation, so it keeps going away. So if at all, if you want to draw a square or like a cube, so you have to shift the points like this. I mean, it's kind of complex to explain, but I'll try. So basically you have to shift your vertices. That's the whole point of vector displacement. So let's see how. And because we already have like position vectors for our sphere, and vector displacement is displacing from the origin, we have to subtract the already existing location, I mean the positions, which means you have to, let's see this again. So we have this, right? And we have a subtract node, and we have to subtract the object coordinates from this. Let's see what happens. There you go. Now you don't have any z depth at all. Why? Because we remove the pre-existing coordinates and we ignore the z-axis, right? But there's one more thing. Just give me a second. I think I'll close Discord one last time because it's kind of taking off. So what's going on in the chat? Oh, thank you. Tech. Oh, Tech, hi. You're CGI Tech. I remember you. Thanks for stopping by, Agnev. It's nice to have you here. So now you can see that there is no trace of z-axis at all. But one last thing that we have to do here is we only need the position vectors, okay? Position vectors, or else like the unit vectors, because unit vector is something which is having a magnitude of 1 and only has the direction. Because if you want to displace the vertices to this particular point, what you could do is you can take this unit vector and you can scale it up till there, right? So let's say this is at 1, so the magnitude is 1, but this is at a distance of r, so just multiply this unit vector by r. So to make this to get the unit vectors, what you can simply do is you can normalize it. What normalize does is it basically converts any vector into a unit vector. So it's nothing but take a vector which is v bar and divide it by its magnitude. So this is nothing but the unit vector. You'll only get the direction, right? If that makes sense. So I'm trying to make it as soon as possible. I think once the basics are covered, everything will be fine. Just let me know, guys. Are you able to follow along? And yeah. So now to do that, we have to normalize. What should we normalize? We have to normalize this particular one. We have a normalize function here. So let's see that. Using object coordinates, we normalized it. Also, right now the updated vector is this one, right? So we have to subtract this one from there. We got a cylinder. Someone guess why we got a cylinder? I'll tell you 1 second. Just give me a second. Let me explain what I just did. So right now, we multiplied this with 0. Basically, we are not subtracting the z-axis. I mean, we are not subtracting the z location because we are going to displace it, right? We are going to displace it. So if I subtract the object coordinates, I'm going to if I subtract object coordinates, I'm going to ignore the z-axis, but I'm not ignoring the z-axis, but I just don't want the vector, so we'll subtract this one. So you don't have any trace of blue, but then we can still displace along the z-axis. So now we are going to scale it, I mean to displace the vector. Just like I said before, we have the normalized coordinates here, which is this one. Because can you see that it's more like a gradient? It's not like the object coordinates. I mean, I can show you the difference. So this is the object coordinates. You can see it's just straight lines. There is no radial thing going on. So when you separate this axis using a separate XYZ node, we have straight lines. But I mean, like like a gradient that's going along the X direction, along the Y direction. You can't find the Z direction because the Z is 0. So, but then when you see this normalized vector, it's the same, but then you can see it's radial, a little bit radial. It's going from minus pi to pi. To see this better, I think I should use a map range node. I'm not really sure. Let me just see. Minus pi to pi. Yeah, it covers. Look at that. It's radial. Anyway, you understood, right? If it, let me know if you understood that. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it as user-friendly as possible, because not user-friendly. What am I talking? Let me just save the file as well. What shall I name this? Live stream. I leave the link for the blend file once it is done. This is my first YouTube live stream, so I'm going to name it YouTube live stream 1. So now we have to scale it. Scaling, we have to do it with a scalar. That's why it's called scalar, right? I mean, honestly, that's exactly why it's called a scalar. So when you scale a unit vector with a scalar, or else like a small value, is going to scale along the direction. So what is a scalar? Any value. This is a scalar. Scalar can be any value from -1 to 1, which is 1 dimensions. So, but then let's imagine we need to make a cone from the cylinder. Cone is nothing but it has no displacement here, but it has full displacement here. I mean, like, you can scale it here with a 0, which will basically get these vertices to this point. But if you keep it, if you scale this by 1, scaling it by 1 means nothing but multiplying it by 1. Scaling it by 0 is nothing but multiplying by 0. So let's say scale this by 0 and scale this by 1. These vertices will stay in the same place, but these vertices will come to this location. But what if I scale this with a gradient? Gradient as in a continuous value that go from 0 to 1. So let's just see. For that, cause I'm scaling it along the z-axis. Let's take let's use object coordinates, because right here we don't have any z-axis, but here we have the z-axis. So let's do that. To get the z-axis separately, we can separate them using a separate xyz node. This x direction, y direction, z direction. I only need the z1, so yeah. And also this one goes from -1 to 1. Okay. Hey Joel, hi, how are you? Hi friend. So right here, this one goes from -1 to 1 because we're using object coordinates, right? -1 to 1. So I want to map range it from, I want it to go from 0 to 1. Okay. I mean, when you scale with the negative value, it's going to like basically scale in the opposite direction. Because these are all our negative values, I wanted to make them go to 0 to 1 from the top instead of -1 to 1. We can do that with a map range node. A map range node basically takes values and scales it according, not scales it, it maps the range like from -1 to 1 here to 0 to 1, but linearly as in this man. Oh god, did I just delete it? Linearly as in this way, like this is 0 and this is 1. To reach this point, it's going linearly, like in a straight line fashion. Or else we can see there's step linear or there's smooth step. Smooth step, to reach this point, it's going to start slowly like this, and it's going up and it reaches slowly there. But let's scale this. Okay, what should we scale? We have to scale the normalized vector, right? Because a normalized vector is like a unit vector, so we have to scale the unit vector. To do that, we can simply use the scale node and we can scale it directly. Let's see how that looks, but we have to update it. There you go. So what exactly happened here? Just before I'm using smooth step here, right? As you can see, it has the small thing, so it starts slow and goes up. I told you, like a smooth interpolation. Wait a second, something happened just now. I think I deleted something. How can I delete that? Subtract it from this one, yeah. And put this in the displacement. Yep, it works now. So here I scale at 0, here I scale at 1. As I told before, if this is 0 and this is 1, it's going slowly in this manner. That's why you get this one. But if you use like linear interpolation, you can see it's a straight line. So there we go. We made a cone. I'm keeping it as slow as possible, guys. If you still feel it's fast or if you don't understand anything, just let me know. Hey Aaron, hi. Thanks for joining the stream. So I'm trying to explain vector displacement, and let's create the lightsaber. So as it said, now we have a range that's going from 0 to 1, but we can change the interpolation. Instead of linear interpolation, we can use smooth interpolation, smooth step, right? Like, this one. But there's something else you can do. You can use RGB curves, because linear interpolation is nothing but this. Smooth step interpolation is nothing but this. And step linear, I think this, not really sure, something like this. I mean, obviously it's not proper, but you get the thing. Let's see. Let's reset the RGB curve. So when I plug it, right, let's set this linear again, and you can see there's nothing happening, but here comes the magic. If I do this, bam, did you see that? Now basically I can shape it however I want. Can you see this is the, this curve is the profile of this one, of the z-axis. It's like revolve function. So just like in CAD softwares, if you're familiar, you'll have something like this profile, 2D profile, and you'll revolve it along the z-axis, so you'll get the surface. That's what we did just now. So all I did now was very simple, guys. So as I said, we did here, right? I mean, we did this along the z direction, but we can do this in any direction. So let's try this out. Let's scale it along the, let's do it for the y-axis. So I should use a y-axis gradient here. So let's see. There you go. 3. That's it. Can you see? Can you see? This is nothing but this. Also, if you want to like decrease this effect, let me just see. Yeah, Vishnu, it's fine. It's going to be here. So if you want to like reduce this effect, you can simply use another multiply node and multiply it. Can you see? It's like scaling it, but in all directions. So let's leave it like that. So I'm going to like speed this up, because I'll show you like this is the base of anything. So let's open a image of lightsaber that I found online. Just give me a second. I'll just find it real quick for you guys. Lightsaber, where did I put it? It should be somewhere. So, oh, my base mesh is just a sphere, Aaron. Let me just show. Because it's easy to work with spheres, we can make almost any shape with it. For example, with the same technique, instead of using multiply node, if I use a step, not step, what is it called? Snap with 1 1 1, and use this to the subtract. Let's do this. What snap is doing is basically setting, it's incrementing the values. But if I use this as a displacement, I think I can make a cube, I guess. Is this a cube? Hopefully. Yeah, It's a cube. There you go. Snapping is just snapping the values to linear interpolation. Let's say linear interpolation. It snaps at 0, and till it reaches 1 it's going to be at 0, and then once it reaches 1 it's going to be 1, till it reaches 2 it's going to be 2, and so on. It's going to snap it. So there's no like any interpolations or anything. It's just values. Yeah, I just want to show something real quick. And I can see that there is very little lag, like almost nothing, like 5 seconds I guess, not even 5 seconds. Yeah, somewhere around there. So let's continue with this anyway. I'll use like a diffuse node. So this might seem a bit hard, but I mean it's all in the RGB curves, guys. So because it's a hard surface model, there is no like any smooth interpolations in. Let me just download an image of Lightsaber. I really need some reference to work on. Lightsaber. What should I search for this? Lightsaber views. Got it. Download image. Okay, downloaded that. There you go. So you can see it's all hard surface, right? I mean, can you guys see this? So right now I'm going to like trace this one in the RGB curves. It's time consuming, but we have to do it. Look at that. Can you see? That's exactly what we need to do. Yeah, I think normally we do this on Discord, in Erin's Discord. Also, the link is in the description below if you guys want to check that out. And I really recommend joining the Discord server. We really have so many procedural artists in it, and we have Erin, who is really good, really passionate about sharing his knowledge. And if you have any doubts, you can post it in the help chat. And I think it's wonderful. We have Gabe, who streams every day, almost every single process that he makes. Everyone shares the content over there. I love the server. I recommend you guys to join as well. So because it's hard surface, I don't need any the smooth interpolations. So what we could do is we can select these handles and we can change them into a vector handle, which is basically straight lines. Can you see that? There you go. Same way, change this to vector handle. Vector handles. Look at that. So let's start making the shape. I know it's going to be a lot of time consuming, but just to show a demo for you guys, I'm not going to do this completely. I'm just going to copy the previous one, whatever I did. Can you see this? Yeah. And let's bring this up. And let's make this vector handle as well. I can eyeball this, but as you can see, right, this is the trick. This is the whole trick. You can see it's making the shape. So that's how you have to almost do everything. And I can do it, but then obviously it's going to be a really long stream if I do that, and no one would love it. So I'm just going to open my previous thing. I'm just going to copy. So basically look at what I did here. I did the same thing, right? See, I literally tracked the whole shape here. So what I'll do is I'll simply copy this, and let's get back to the previous one. See, it's in the same location almost. Yeah, I'm going to delete this, connect this one here, and let's scale this one. Let's see if it works the same. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I did, but the shape is bit clumsy, as you can see. I don't really like that. So I think I need to scale this a bit down. So I'll use a math node, change this to multiply. Yeah, 0.5 is enough. There you go, guys. It's a small technique. It's time consuming, but this is one of the most efficient way, I guess. So are you guys able to follow this? I'm just waiting for the reply. Sorry if I'm wasting your time. Nothing as such, I think. You guys are lovely. So shall we start creating the materials, or else shall we look at how to make the laser? So basically this is the workflow. This is one of the most simplest way you can think of. Look at this node setup. There are barely any nodes. That's why RGB curves. Literally, if you want to like make this one using math nodes, it's going to take a lot of time, and I don't really know how to make that anyway. So RGB curves are our friends. Another good thing about RGB curves, guys, let me just show. Oh, not mix RGB node. RGB curves. Oh God, what's this? There you go. Not many people know about this, but here you can set the minimum value to -1 and -1 here. So now you have this facility. Not many people know about that. So you can go to negative values as well. And obviously you can add more handles just like that. So these are negative values, you can see, right? X is negative now. Not many people know about this, but then sometimes it really helps. But yeah, because I use this one here, like, map range the negative values to the positive values. I don't really need to care about this, but yeah, if at all, if you guys didn't know about this, yeah, basically that's it. And I'm gonna delete this. Let's get back to what we are doing before. I think I'll organize this for a second because I really need to. I like to keep it clean. I think this looks fine, decent. Let me know if you guys want like to break down of any of my previous shader works. I can show a few. I'm going to plan more streams here anyway, and November is coming. I'm really excited. So are you guys able to follow this? Oh, Erin, you asked about the flat top, right? Uh, did you understand how did I get the flat top? I think I'll explain it again if you want. I am just waiting for your reply. Before that, I'll show how to look at this. It's just a sphere. It all started from the sphere and the vector displacement. Next, I'll be using this object coordinates again because I need to get the masks of this location, because right now I got the shape. Maybe let's work on the shader anyway because it looks good, I guess. So principal shader, let's decrease roughness quite a bit, and let's make the base color something dark, and let's increase the metalness, not too dark, let's keep it somewhere there. Yeah, and roughness just a bit up. I can pick this color anyway. Let's color pick, not too much, maybe a little. Yeah, and I don't like to keep things what I call clean, so I might add some noise to the bump, but you can see this basically distorts the whole mesh. I mean, it doesn't actually distorts because when you see it from the front view or side view, it's the same shape, but it just fakes. It's just, we have to send this through a bump node and plug this to the height socket. There you go. But I don't want to do that. I was experimenting with this color output and I found a really cool thing. If I separate the hue saturation values, I can get pretty cool effects with this. I mean, let's go to the material preview node just so I can show. Look at this. It's the same noise texture, but when I separate them, I get this nice watercolor effect. I can increase the details as much as I want. Now it looks like coffee stains, you know. Oh, do you want to know how to turn Suzanne into a sphere? I think I can show you that real quick. But let me just complete this one particular thing. So I can increase the details. You can see this coffee stain effect here. That's what I wanted to say. And look at the saturation value. Just give me a second. My brother is sleeping here. So I get this nice, some sort of, what can I think about this? Neurons? Oh god, it's scary, dude. I can plug this directly into the bump node just to see what it's going to look like. And let's see. It kind of mimics the scratches. So let's use a color ramp. Let's bring the blacks down. Oh, my computer is lagging. There you go. Dense. Somewhere around there, yeah. Now, let's look at this. But in vector displacement. I wish it looks good. There you go. Yeah, it's too much cracks, so I think I'll soften this a bit and decrease the size, I guess. Yeah, not too much, not too less. So yeah, let's save the file real quick and open up a new file. No, let's do it here. We have to add Suzanne. Where is Suzanne? Mesh monkey. Let's hide our object and let's give a new material to Suzanne, and let's add a subdivision surface modifier, and let's go to adaptive subdivisions. It's the same drill, guys, and obviously we need to turn on the displacement here. It's right now at only bump. So where's Suzanne? Hey, yeah, my cute little monkey. Let's add a texture coordinate node. We are going to use object coordinate system. As I told before, let's normalize this, because where's normalize? Oh, there it is. Now when you plug this displacement, something just happened. Like I told before, when I normalize it, it's going to give us a unit vector, but then it's adding this unit vector on top of our object coordinates. So we have to subtract the object coordinates. So let's subtract the object coordinates from this. There you go. A sphere from Suzanne. Does it make sense, Aaron? Yeah, it's actually crazy. I mean, just we can think about this like normalize as just getting the getting the vector from the origin. So when you normalize it, it's just a unit vector, which is basically from the origin, and it's equidistant, right? Because it's all 1. I mean, its magnitude is 1. If that makes sense. I don't think so I'm explaining properly. Let me just draw it real quick again. So I have this circle here, and when the vector length is 1, it basically makes a circle, the locus, but in 3 dimensions it makes a sphere. Oh, hey Meghna, welcome. To make this a square, I just did it, but yeah, let's do this one last time. Okay, you can change this to snap and snap it by 1. But something just happened. This is... Oh, I think we are using Suzanne here and the snapping doesn't work really well. Because I'm using Suzanne, because look at this. It's Suzanne. I'm sorry, Suzanne, but yeah, I'm distorting you. So let's do it, Suzanne, now. And let's add back our sphere, which is our lightsaber. And this is our material. Now I just want to mask this area out. For that, I'll be using object coordinates, and I'll separate the axis. Can you guys hear any background noise or something? Now as you can see, this is along the y-axis, right? The gradient. So I need to this goes from -1 to 1 again. So if you want to map range it, you can. Let's do this anyway. I'm just repeating the same task again and again. So this is 0 and this is 1, but I want the mask here, right? So I can use a greater than node or a less than node. Just give me a second. I'm back, guys. Let's add a math node, change this to greater than or less than. I think I want whites here. Oh, it's logarithm. Less than. Oh god, less than. Yeah, there you go. Now I can mask out only this area. What less than is doing? It's very simple. Because we have a range value, like every this is 0 and this is 1, and all these are around 0. I mean it lies between 0 and 1. Less than 0.50, less than 0.5 means where is 0.5? It's around this middle. Let's consider this knob. So everything less than that 0.5 is going to get it's going to get a value 1, which means it's going to turn white, and everything that's greater than 0.5 is going to be black. There you go, exactly around that knob. So but as you saw before, I need around like 0.05, I guess. There it is, maybe a little down. Let's eyeball this. 3 is too small. 3.5. Yeah, that's perfect. 0.35 is it. It is. Oh, I hope the sound is no more. Just let me know, guys. But yeah, that's basically. So now I got this mask, but what am I gonna do with this? We have our vector, I mean this multiplied vector, or is this vector. I'm going to multiply this with this one, with this mask, using a vector math node. I can't use normal multiply node because I'm multiplying a scalar with a vector, right? So what happens if I multiply this with this? Because all these values are 0 and this is 1. When I multiply, this one will have the object coordinates, but rest won't, right? So basically I isolated the coordinates to only this location. But why? Why did I do that? I'll tell you in a minute. But now let's also normalize this. I don't think so this one. Okay, I think it's fine if you don't normalize it, but why not? because I think these values are anyway object coordinates. It has to be, and it's a circle which we used. Now I have this location and I need to make a circle because lightsaber, the laser, I think it's circle. I mean it's a cylinder, so it has a circular cross section. So I'll use the length node. Length, oh sorry, it's in vector math. I always do that. I really wish someone can help me out with that. I don't think so this is working. Let me just try subtract. Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. What did I do before? Let me think. Let's not normalize this, but let's use the length function. I should be getting like a black dot over there, or else we could do something else. Because we have the x coordinate and the y coordinates. Let's see if I can get a circular gradient here, like a gradient math node. Let's use length directly here. Okay, here the origin is here, so I think I have to use this. Not really sure. Let's use this part. Yeah, sorry. I should be using this coordinates. I was using the object coordinates. I should be using this coordinates because right now the origin is here and here. That's why. Now the length function basically has this circular gradient here. So now I don't think so we need this one, but we need this one. This mask is for sure. We have the length. Now when I subtract a value, I'm able to increase the radius. Can you see that? But let's subtract it from 1 so that it inverts it. Can you see? This inverts the grade, I mean the fall off from 0 to 1. But this is not going from 0 to 1. It's going from 0 to 0.2. To get this back to 0 to 1, oh, let me just check the chat. Okay, everything is fine, I guess. Let's add a value node and let's plug it here. Let's say 0.25. Yeah, okay, maybe a little less. Yeah, and we have to divide the same thing with the same value. Now divide, not subtract, divide. Yeah, now this goes from 0 to 1, this value, but this one goes from 0 to 0.25. When you divide it, basically what you're doing, let me do the math here. 0.25, 0.2 divide into 1 by 0.2. Can you see that? You're getting 1. So now we don't need this at all, right? That's where we can use this gradient. So let's get this down over there. Let's do the math node, and let's multiply both of them. There you go. It's no more. You can clamp this as well because we have negative values here, okay? Because this is going from 0 to, I don't think so. Maybe let's clamp it, no problem. What clamping does is it keeps the values in the range of 0 to 1. Everything below 0, all the negative values will round to 1, and every value that is above 1 is going to round to 1. That's it. And that's basically it here. Now we need to add this to our displacement. So basically what should I do? Let's turn on the axis. I should basically extrude this along the y direction, which means I have to move these points along the y direction. How can I do that? Let's use a vector math node, vector multiply, vector math. So basically when I add something along a direction, I mean, let's say this. No. Let's multiply this with some value. I'm basically scaling it. I'll tell why, but just give me a second. So we have this one, and if I multiply along the y direction, basically I'm scaling it along the y-axis, right? If that makes sense. So when I scale this, it basically comes out. But and all these values are zeros, and only this value is somewhere around 10. Let's keep it 10. So this will move 10 units to the along the y direction. So what should I do? Should I add it? I think I should add it. Or is we can, I think we should add it. Yeah, we should add it to this one. Let's keep this 0. I'll tell you what's happening. So I'm only adding this area with this one, and everything else is 0. So this will stay the same. Let's add it. Okay, it's extruding in the opposite direction. Can you see that? It's extruding in the opposite direction. This is too long. So what we could do is we can invert it just by multiplying. There you go. Let's give the principal based. That's it. That's basically it. That's how I made the lightsaber. But obviously I need to refresh the whole thing. And I think this is even too long. Maybe I'll just multiply with -6 or something, -7. And yeah, I had to refresh the geometry to make it look more natural. Yeah. Let me know, guys, if at all, if you have anything to ask now. I'm just waiting for your replies. Thanks for sticking, guys. I really appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying. Yeah, fiction. I'm streaming on YouTube. It was just like I was just on Discord, just talking to friends, and all of a sudden I just wanted to stream, and I started streaming. That's how it happened. But something is happening here. Can you see this topology is not good enough, or is not good? So to see the topology, I think I'll be using a wireframe node. I know this is broken, but can you see the topology is so bad because it's extruding too much? And I think I had to decrease the size as well. I don't want this much size. Let's go to 1.5. And let's refresh the topology. And without adding this one, I mean, if I mute this, basically, if I see the render, and let's get this to the view. Can you see everything here is fine except this area? I mean, this area, let's just draw something on top of that. This area. And if I see the divide node, so basically when you shift this up, I think what I'll do now is, instead of clamping this, I'll multiply with a higher number here, but clamp this now. So now I think this should work fine because it's extruding up. Yeah, something's happening. There you go. Now it is straight. That's exactly what I wanted. And the topology is perfect. I never thought this would work properly, but yeah, I did. It's all experimentation, not everything, but yeah, most of the thing. Now let's get to the shaders because we have to make it look good. And maybe I'll change the camera angle somewhere to there. I'm very bad at camera placement, but I'll just give this a try. GZZ. I know I'm not talking for most of the time, but yeah, there's nothing to talk. It's everything. It's almost done. You guys ask me if you have anything else. Oh, thank you, Erin. I'm happy that you're enjoying it. And thanks for stopping by. Really big fan of you. I know we know each other, but still, I'm just being nice. So basically, I need this, this part. I need this mask because I need to give this an emission shader. Or else let me just take a minute to clean this up. I really don't like to keep it messy because you'll understand when you get into like larger node groups. And yeah, I think this is fine. Let's group this up. Control J. Let's rename this to the laser. And we can rename this laser radius. Yep. And I'm letting you know, guys, because this one is, it took me almost 2 hours to place this because I was not doing continuously. I was having other works as well, so it was up and down. So it took a lot of time here. Everything else is the same thing. I mean, everything else is not nothing, but this took the majority of the time. So I can use the less than node here directly, but as you can see here, I don't want this part, but I want from here. So I can duplicate the less than node. I can keep, and maybe I can change it to 0.3 or something. Maybe a little less, not too much, but yeah, there you go. 0.03 works fine, I guess. Maybe 0 should work, not 0. 0.01. Yeah, I got the perfect mask. Now what I could do is I can simply use another emission shader and I can mix it with this one with a mix RGB node and use this one as a mask. And all the white areas I need the emission, so I have to plug this in the bottom socket and let's make it red. And let's see how that looks. There you go. Yep. And let's increase the strength to around 5, maybe 10. And yeah, that's about it. And right now I think I should work on the shaders, but I really don't want to. Because it's all normal, it's all a metallic shader. Okay, let's do it, whatever. Let's separate XYZ. I have like a small trick that I did previously, but along the y-axis. I don't really remember how I did the previous one. I think I used a greater than node or something. Math greater than, but not this one. I think this one. Not really sure. I'm just playing around with it right now. Or else we can go to something else, guys. If at all, if you want to like see my other shader stuff, I can show it to you guys. That's also fine. But yeah, that's about it. It's all about getting the masks and doing it. Hmm. I want to texture this. Let's do something else. It was a fun stream though. I hope you all learned something. This is like the very basic vector displacement tutorial. Like really, let me see. Let me open the one which I worked on previously, like this one. What did I do here? Okay, I used this one itself. Okay, it took a lot more tweaking, and I'm really surprised that I did this so fast. For the first time when I made this, it took me around like 5 hours, I guess. Not 5 hours, 4 hours, because it was not. It was experimenting. Basically, this is my first vector displacement shader as well. I'm really glad I shared it with you guys. I'm not getting any updates on my live stream. Let me just switch back to mobile just to see if there is any chat going on. My channel. So there's nothing going on anyway. Now that's it. That's it for now. I think I'm going to stop the stream. Thanks for coming, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And yeah, that's it. I think 1 hour long is enough. I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe soon. Bye. Thanks everyone for joining.